Now we move on to our last session, technologies and approaches for healthy aging. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our esteemed session chair, Dr. Nikhil R. Gandasi. He's a longevity investigator and assistant professor, Department of Developmental Biology and Genetics, IAC. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Nikhil. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the introduction, Soparnika. I work on pancreas and related to pancreas aging. So I'll not go into my research because it'll eat up the time. So I'm going to introduce Dr. Shefali, who is from Serotonin Labs. She's going to speak about wearables and various solutions in terms of longevity. So over to you.
So, good afternoon, and thank you all for making it to this session. Today, let me talk to you about a project that has been a cohesion of both knowledge, passion, and a collaborative effort of all our team members. That is Project Serotonin. So, as I said, at Project Serotonin, we develop precision protocols for healthy aging. And let me take you through what the process that we have, what's our approach and what the process we followed to arrive at this multimodal platform for optimal health, peak performance, and longevity. Okay. Here's a brief introduction about myself. I'm an alumnus of NCBA STIFR. My doctoral research work has been on folic acid and how the pathway of endocytosis of the folate receptor. And 20 years later, again, life has come full circle. Folic acid is now a part of my daily work vocabulary again. So I've worked with multiple other companies, as you can see from the list here on the screen. I won't go into it. At Serotonin Labs, I guide the overall scientific research, the creation of precision algorithms, and the creation of novel knowledge systems to understand scientific data. So that's my contact coordinate. If anybody wants to get in touch, please, you're most welcome. Now, what is Project Serotonin all about? Project Serotonin has been created to help people achieve their best preventive health outcomes using the latest in precision science and technology and collaborating with mission-aligned providers and partners. So why is an approach like Project Serotonin necessary at all, right? So what we need to understand human health in totality is a cohesive assessment of multiple risk factors. Now, we've heard throughout many sessions in the last 3 days about how a one-point diagnosis is not enough, how a singular set of inputs of human health are not predictive enough or are not illustrative enough of what's actually happening to a person's health journey. So if you want to understand a person's health, you cannot understand it in terms of a single snapshot. You have to understand a person's health journey. To understand a person's health journey, the number of inputs that can go into modifying a person's health are these. There's genetics, there's diet, there's lifestyle habits, nutrient optimization, and so on, right? There are also newer inputs that are emerging, notably new medical devices, new devices that monitor other newer and newer signals. We've heard about how the gut microbiome and different kinds of microbiomes associated with human health are important. We need to understand a person's health in terms of new diagnostic tests as well as imaging inputs. Now, how do you put all of this together, right? It is humanly impossible for anybody to first up collect all this data about a person, even as a single point snapshot. It's not easy to collect all this data with respect to even one single person. The next big task is how do you understand this person's health journey, which means you need to collect these inputs in multiple iterations over a period of time, right? The third step is to make sense of it all. I mean, sure, you can collect a lot of data. What will you do with it? How will you understand it? How will you make use of it to support that person's health journey? And all of this is impossible unless you have a tech framework supporting these thought processes. So taking into account, so this is what our team has built over the last 10 years. We have built new science systems. So we consider clinical evidence that is published by any and all groups, as long as it can be analyzed in an unbiased fashion by our scientists, it is valid evidence. We've built a system for understanding clinical evidence with respect to all kinds of health interventions, whether it is nutritional inputs, whether those health interventions are lifestyle practices or even emotion management practices like mindfulness or meditation or controlled breathing, what have you. If it's published as a clinical trial, we will take it into our systems, we will analyze it, and we will fit that data in accordance to what a user's parameters are. The next big input is genetics, right? Now, we've heard both sides of the debate over the last 3 days, whether genetics is a determinant of human health or not, whether the environment and the lifestyle that you follow supersedes genetics or not, right? Our take on this is this. Genetics is like the GPS of your health, right? A GPS will always tell you, if you're driving a vehicle, your GPS will tell you whether you're going in the right direction, wrong direction, something lies ahead, etc. It's the same with genetics. Genetics is the GPS of your health. Your road trip depends upon how well you drive your car. Similarly, your health journey depends upon how well you manage it, right? So genetics is essential, and we will, of course, we can debate the merits of whether it supersedes environment or not endlessly. In a pragmatic sense, we consider your genetic inputs. So we've built a system to understand what kinds of genetic markers are relevant to human health. Again, we comb through GWS papers and other large-scale genetics data set papers to pull down information that is relevant to human health. We then match it to the genetic readout of every person who is a part of the Project Serotonin program. So that's one area where a huge amount of tech support is brought in into this entire framework. The next one is fairly important. We have an extremely unique system built up, which is meant to pre-qualify nutrition products or any kind of health supportive product, I would say, that is put out into the market. We have some very stringent criteria for understanding whether a product is made in the right fashion, whether it has the right ingredients, right formulations, and whether it is made in a certified facility, whether it's verified by third parties, everything. In fact, we are the only people probably who have a good understanding of what is in a health supportive product, down to even the pill composition, the fillers, every last ingredient that is put into it. And we make sure that we use this information to actually rule out any product or any ingredient that should not go into a person's body based on their dietary preferences, based on their food sensitivities, and any kind of allergies that they may have, which are related to those substances. So this makes this is in fact a very crucial part of a program. This makes for very, very precise inputs into a user's health program and health journey. Last but not the least, we have again hand-tooled an RX drug interaction system. So any kind of chronic drug usage creates collateral damage that needs to be mitigated if a person has to be healthy and whole again. So this is a very important safety check as well as a personalization element in the way we develop our programs. If, as a member of Serotonin, you come in with your pre-existing prescriptions, great. We will build your program around it, right? And so that ensures that we will make a program safe for you, and we will make it work for you as well, right? Now, I won't go into all of this, into a lot of detail on the slide, but suffice it to say that these inputs, plus other user-related inputs, including inputs from wearable data, from their exercise pattern, from other quality of life assessment, and periodic lab tests. All of these go into our algorithm. The algorithm creates a hyper-personalized program. Now, this program is delivered via an app. We can see another snapshot later. What's also important is that we track. We track everything that you consume. We track everything that a person consumes using a custom designed patent pending tracker. This will also be out in the market in the next year. So let me give you a quick glimpse of the quantum of data that is factored into our algorithm. We have 650,000 SNPs. We have 40,000 plus clinical studies and counting, because every week when new clinical studies are published, our scientists pull them down, run them through our filtering criteria, and collate that data, match it with the pre-existing body of knowledge. We have assessed more than 12,000 products, or let me correct myself. We have actually assessed more than 20,000 products, and we have selected 12,000 products from the market, both in India and in the US. We have recorded and we use this data of more than 4,000 plus different formulations of different nutrients and other ingredients We have considered 500 plus drug classes for interactions, 140 blood biomarkers, wearable inputs, and other personal data. Now, using all of this, we create what precision protocols that have all these elements. As I said, we deliver precision nutrition. We suggest what kind of an exercise pattern a person should follow, sleep, diet, lifestyle, social connection, etc. All these features are built into our app and our program. This is, in brief, how the serotonin journey can look like for anyone. A person becomes a member of a program. We first fix their foundation nutrition, and this remains a constant feature of their program throughout. Then, depending upon a person's biomarkers, they can either choose between programs or protocols that enhance peak performance or any of the others. This is just a representation of how we deliver the program to users and how we take the inputs. Now, when we look at such a platform, of course, this platform will enable you to collect and analyze and collate large-scale cohort data. I'm not going to go into all the details because I want to spend some time on something new. We've been able to see significant reduction in inflammation markers, systemic inflammation, and this is the overall change in quality of life reported by our program members. But the real power of using a multimodal platform and doing longitudinal follow-up of a user's health journey lies in understanding their future health risks, right? So we have worked on some novel models for risk scoring, and the reasons are very clear. I won't go into details, but there are pre-existing models for assessing a person's chances of developing CVD disorders. The number of variables factored in are very few. Very important variables like genetics and micronutrition status, as well as lifestyle, are missing from the risk prediction models. So our team has worked on creating a CVD risk model, divided into non-modifiable risk score and modifiable risk score. And this is what the model looks like. This is a grab from my phone. It's a long list of parameters. And I can discuss this in detail with all of you. Let me skip this and go to what we see as a result. So here are two users who have been on the program for a very long time, almost 5 years, right? This is data from a 52-year-old person, high physical activity, high LPA, high BMI, but also muscle mass greater than fat mass. Now, as the person has worked with us through the program, you can see that gradually there is a progressive reduction in the cardiovascular risk that this person carries. Now, this is only possible because of the multimodal evaluation that our platform offers. We can even track incidents like inflammation and higher risk caused by a COVID Arcturus variant infection. And the user has adopted significant amounts of resistance training over the last year, and therefore the risk has come down. Now, traditional risk models like FRS and ASCVD actually don't work well for people under 40. Here is an example of a user who is female, 38, again, highly physically active, but also comes with high LPA levels. As you can see, over a similar time course, this user's risk has reduced considerably. It's been borne out by, and you can see a significant drop with the adoption of resistance training, and the impact of resistance training has been confirmed with a DEXA scan. Right? So this is an example of the kind of predictive models that we can develop using longitudinal assessments of a person's health. So we have similarly models for cancer risk score. Again, you can see a gradual decline in cancer risk as well. Similarly, we are developing predictive models for neurodegenerative disorders because prevention is the only cure there. And here is another example of a user who, despite having a history of cardiovascular adverse events, actually has shown a significant decline in the risk of neurodegeneration. Right? What next? Our platform actually works as a personal wellness platform for sure. It can also be adapted for clinical trials. And the data that the learnings that we get from longitudinal monitoring can point to some new correlations between parameters of human health. We can always take these back to the academia, and we would love to work on collaborations where assumptions from our models can be tested for biochemical veracity in fundamental research labs like IISc. This is the team that has built this platform, and it's been a wonderful journey of the last 10 years. The most notable effect, I should say, of being a part of Project Serotonin is that biomarkers now are our new vanity metrics. So the first thing that we do is we flaunt our biological age, and we flaunt our most significant biomarker that we have been successful in controlling. So, and that's I think I'll end with that and take a few questions if we have time.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shefali. Very interesting talk. Very nice work. Appreciate that. Questions? So by the time the mic goes there, I'm just curious to know what is the scenario with all the vitamin supplements. So in a, let's say in a younger age group,
Right.
do you see that very few people have taken vitamins? Their vitamin levels are very low, is it?
So that's an interesting question because the reason we have seen low levels of vitamin D, B12, and of course all magnesium. Of course, everybody, if you're not on supplementation, you're subclinically hypomagnesiamic. It's a given, right? Every person, even as young as 18, has come in with a variable level of sufficiency and even optimization for nutrients, basic nutrients. That's because our genetics sometimes works against us. We take a cohesive view of all the genes that are involved in absorption, distribution, all the processes related to a nutrient. We do see genetic trends where a person is going to be very significantly deficient for, say, D, B12, magnesium, and that correlates with their initial lab reports when they join the program at baseline, right? And of course, over the course of the program, when they use our precision nutrition inputs, we optimize those markers. And by optimization, I mean we go beyond sufficiency. We take you to a zone where if you have irregular consumption for a few days, you're not going to fall back to deficiency. So yes, so that trend is there. Age doesn't matter. You could be depleted for a nutrient for a long time, starting at a very young age, and chronic nutrient depletion is actually one predisposing factor that goes into long-term chronic disorders, the three big disorders, CVD, cancer, and NDD.
Interesting. Question there?
Yeah. About the quantum of data factored in the slide that you presented, it mentioned 40,000 plus studies. Like, that's a huge number.
Yes.
Like, can you elaborate more on that? Like, these might not be the original studies that you have done. Maybe
No, no,
you
no.
must have
No,
considered
no, no,
the
no, no,
published
no.
trials.
No, no. That did not refer to 40,000 users on our platform. I mean, if that were to be the case, I would be the most happiest person in the world right now. 40,000 clinical studies on nutrients, on herbal supplements, anything that is related to human nutrition and human health, all that is published in PubMed and any other public data repository, those are the studies that are analyzed and put into our system. So we match scientific evidence to a user's profile. And then we also, bring in weightage from other factors like genetics, their chronic medication, their lifestyle factors. If you've been a chronic smoker, we need to adjust your level of nutrition first.
So you have used these studies to map the effect, like what is the quantity, like what is the fold change of a particular active uh, given the dosage and the time duration of intervention?
We use the studies to understand what is applicable, what dosage range is applicable to a profile, and also what formulations are applicable to a profile, but those are not the only uses. I mean, that's a starting point. We layer it up with more complex information about an individual that comes from the rest of the factors that I put on that slide.
All right, thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. In the interest of time, we should move on. A big hand to Dr. Shefali again.